Radio station, Salaam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Good evening, tech enthusiasts. Welcome to Tech Factor. I'm your host, Akeel, here to guide you through an hour of the latest in the world of tech. From game-changing innovations to quirky and the unexpected. We've got it all. Tonight's show is packed with fascinating stories, and we'll even be diving into the intersection of tech and health. So stay tuned, you don't want to miss that. And as always, I'm joined by my co-pilot on this tech journey, Joel. Joel, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going really well. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much, sir. It's good to have you back here with me in the studio. It feels like I haven't seen you in ages.
Yeah, but it's only been a couple of weeks, but it feels longer, doesn't it? So much has happened.
It certainly has. Our first topic tonight is something that's not just innovative, but deeply personal. How technology is revolutionizing our health. Let's dive into wearables first. These gadgets have come a long way. It's not just about counting steps anymore. Smartwatches now monitor heart health, detect irregular rhythms, and even measure blood oxygen cells. I can't even speak this evening. So what happens when you do shows back to back. Fitness trackers and glucose monitors are empowering people with real-time data to manage chronic conditions. So Joel, are you using any of these tech tools?
I've used them for years, actually, and you don't realise it until you actually think about it. But for years and years and years, I've had watches that have tracked my running. I've had phones that have tracked where I've cycled, how many steps I've been doing. And just recently with my new watch that I've got, has got blood pressure monitoring, ECG monitoring on it, and all that kind of stuff as well. So it's just, again, the tech, I've watched the tech move on throughout the years. Yeah, it's absolutely amazing.
And then there's telemedicine. Now, during the pandemic, this sector exploded. I don't know if you remember, there's virtual consultations, which are now mainstream. Then AI played a massive role, certainly is playing a massive role now. Imagine an app diagnosing skin conditions or monitoring mental health. And the innovation doesn't stop there, does it? I mean, we've got biohacking, using technology to optimize our bodies and minds. Think microchips under the skin for instant payments or infrared saunas to boost health. It's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and touching on the biohacking side of things, I find that term really, really interesting, because back in my day, we called it keeping fit, and now it's like, oh, now I'm biohacking, by changing diet or intermittent fasting, or, using devices to change, to give you different biofeedback, so then you can then change your routine or change what you're doing with your body, whether it's food, whether it's more sleep, whether it's less stress, there's so many different things. Even if you may be sensitive to the weather and all those kind of things, all of a sudden it's got this buzzword called biohacking, and yet, back in my day it was like, oh, I'm keeping fit, I'm getting good sleep, I'm getting good diet, getting my steps in and all that kind of stuff. Wow. So interesting word.
Absolutely. So what do you think? Are these technologies making healthcare more accessible, or is the risk, or are we risking over-reliance on these things? We'd love to hear from you. You can call us on 01733 602 133. Text the show on 07411 191062. Comment on the live stream, Facebook, YouTube, X, or Twitch. We'd love to hear from you. Now, I remember I purchased the very first Apple Watch. I don't even remember. I showed it to you. I walked into work and so everyone just looked at me. What's he bought now? And I think most people are using a smartwatch these days as their way of using a health tracking type of device. Of course, you have the new rings that are out there, and some people have got special glasses on and so on. But mostly people are wearing a Fitbit, or they're wearing a Apple Watch, or they're wearing a version of a Google Watch, made by Samsung or whoever else, Huawei or whatever it is. So most people's journey into smart health tech is something that's on their wrist. And you're right. In the first instance, everyone was like, well, I've done 3,000 steps today, right? Or tomorrow I'm going to do 4. So then Apple I'm sure you can give the Android example, but Apple starts bringing in things like close your rings. So every day it's saying to you, once you've done this many steps, you can close your ring. The watch starts telling you need to stand up. It then times you how long you've been standing up. It may say to you need to move around, you need to move your neck, and so on. These are really simple but effective ways of getting you to do something outside of what you wouldn't already do. So if you've got a sedentary role, you're in an office or, and so on, you're in that type of environment. Maybe if you're a taxi driver, you've now got something on your wrist that taps you. It might give you a little bit of haptic feedback. It might give you a little vibration on your wrist to say to you, hey, it's time to walk. It's time to drink a glass of water. In fact, there's also apps out there which are telling you to drink water. Literally saying to you, you have to input the data at the beginning, but then every day it will say to you, you haven't drank, or have you drank those 500 mils yet? And then it just calculates it for the rest of the day. So it's really, really interesting that we've gone from the basic steps now to the other side of life, where it's counting your portion intake. It's monitoring your, like you said, your heart and so on. We've got a wealth of technology either on our faces, on our wrists, and this is providing us with real time. It used to be like, you'd have to refresh the watch or your phone, and then you'd say, okay, give me a minute, let me go and drag all that data. It's not like that anymore, Joel. It's almost instant.
And I'll tell you what else as well. It's I'm just love data, and I'm always banging on when I'm on this show. We're always talking about data this and data that.
We love data.
And the reason that you can just buy a watch and have that data at your fingertips, on your app, on your phone, whether it's Apple or Samsung or whoever it might be, whether it's your Garmin account or your Fitbit account or whatever, you will get decent stats for no money. For no subscription. There are some apps out there, that you can subscribe to, and there are some apps out there that when you subscribe to, you get even further insights. But the companies are loving that data. Everyone's loving that data. They want to see, there's money to be made in seeing how busy we are, how busy we're not. That little haptic feedback that you get, it means you're interacting with their device. You're building dependency on it. So the next time that Apple launches a new watch, there's an advert on one at the moment. It's got a bigger screen on it. It's in the biggest screen ever, Apple Watch. Yeah, you got to buy me. Yeah. And the reason you got to buy him is because you think, oh yeah, well, if I looked at that, I'll be able to see more data of my health, more data on this, more data on that. So again, your health data is the things that these companies absolutely love and want more of.
Yes, I mean, there's been some success stories. I mean, taking that into account then. So smartwatches and heart health. The Apple Watch has saved lives by alerting wearers to irregular heart rhythms, leading them to seek medical attention. This is a cool feature. I've seen it many, many times. They've also now added crash detection, fall detection.
Yep. It's
really clever, really, really clever stuff. And, if you're in a car accident, the watch knows.
Yeah.
The phone knows. If you've had a heart attack or if you've fallen down, the watch knows. The phone knows. And it goes back to what you just said. It's data. Clever sensors, are within this software and the devices themselves, which are picking up. Okay, this is what's happening around me, and that data's then presented to the end user or the company and so on. Then you have something called continuous glucose monitoring (CGM). Devices like Dexcom allow people with diabetes to monitor glucose levels in real time without finger pricks. This is a game changer. My late dad who passed away, he had diabetes for a long time. And I know how much of a detrimental impact it had on his life, but he wasn't one of these people who just he's just succumbed to it. He was a fighter. So he wanted to, he controlled it. He definitely had it under control, but he had to do that. I remember he had to prick his finger, do all these sort of things. But now to have a device that just monitors your glucose levels, I mean, this is what we want, don't we?
We've just
useful technology.
Yeah, I've just had family and friends they can get a free 2-week trial for it, and it goes into your skin. It's completely painless, and the implant sits on the back of your arm, connects via Bluetooth to your phone, and it will give you up to date, up to the minute readings on how your blood sugars have gone high, if they've gone low, if they're stable. And it's very, very interesting because I've seen like a type 2 diabetic use it. I've seen someone who isn't diabetic, someone that's like borderline diabetic use it. And I've seen the graphs from each person, and it's just absolutely fascinating to see the difference that these devices have made to those three people to understand their health better and to understand, what's actually going on in their bodies. Because, if you have a heavy lunch and then you feel funny in the afternoon, or, if you haven't eaten and you feel funny, why is that? Well, this device is telling you straight away. you've had a sugar crash, or you experience an extreme sugar high followed by a crash, or everything's fine and you have no high or no low, which means it's perhaps something else why you feel this way. And again, long-term trends on gathering health data from wearable tech is fantastic. Really is.
And it's only going to help improve devices going forward, isn't it? I mean, you have AI diagnostics, right? An AI-powered tool like Google's Dermassist. It can identify skin conditions with near dermatologist accuracy. Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you have remote surgery, right? You've got robots like the Vinci surgical system, which enables surgeons to perform procedures remotely with high precision.
Yeah, and as you said, telemedicines. You talked about telemedicines as well. Able to give professional opinions without the travel. Yeah, so you can do it via the internet, over Teams or whatever. And then our favourite, one of our favourite topics on this show is AI, and the fact that that is just going to be, revolutionising the analysis of all of this data, of all of these trends and things like that. When you factor into the tech side of it, if you factor into it a company called Our Future Health, who I've mentioned again on the show before. So this company is a large-scale health research initiative within the UK who look for volunteers, and they're handling around now about 1 million people have volunteered for this, and they take data collected from genetics, demographics, lifestyle, medical histories and things like that. And the idea is to bring it all together and spot long-term trends for things like dementia, cancer, heart disease, diabetes. And I think that over a long enough timeline, with research like data that they're gathering, combined with wearable data that you're collecting through your Fitbit, your Garmin, your Samsung Health, your Apple Health apps and everything like that, I think that you'd be able to not just detect, oh, you're about to have a heart attack in the next 2 minutes, you might have a little watch is beeping away, but it's going to be like, yeah, you're at higher risk of dementia or heart disease later on in life if you carry on in your current trajectory. And I think that that's when our wearable tech's really going to come into its own, is not necessarily in the short term, but in the long term, saying if you carry on like this, this is the results and here is the evidence because of that.
It goes back to, like you said, it goes back to data, doesn't it?
Oh, everything's data. We love data.
We love data. This is it. We've come to this, with the data guys. Now, do you know in America, Apple and Fitbit have had FDA-approved features for heart monitoring and detecting atrial fibrillation for quite a long time. And then you have the other side of it. I mentioned biohacking to you before, but Elon Musk's Neuralink aims to link human brains with computers, and people have. I think there's 2 people already got that chip in their heads already.
Yeah.
I mean, you wouldn't want me with that. Believe me, Joel knows me well. I don't think the world's ready for that, Joel. But in terms of biohacking communities, you have online forums like Reddit or Biohackers have thousands of members sharing tips on optimizing health through technology. And I think this is a good thing because you have, like you said, you have the companies out there who are building the systems and the products and so on, and they have access to all of the data. Then you have people who are using it for beneficial purposes and sharing that so that people around the world start thinking about the health from a non-traditional way, right? Traditional being NHS sends out this flyer or an email or whatever it may be, and people, you know what, I'll come back, I'll read it another time. Oh, I'll do this another time. But now people are saying, actually, you know what, this phone that you use every day and you're using a social media app, if you were to reduce this and then use this, and this will be good, better for your wellness, your mind, and whatever it may be. I think social media has certainly propelled biohacking and apps and devices all on its own. You don't even need to market them anymore in the way that you would traditionally because people are selling it themselves by lived experiences.
Yeah, people are becoming more aware of the fact that they can change their lifestyles. They understand that something might be wrong, but not fully understand what the cause of it is. And with wearable tech, when, one sort of more recent addition to them is sort of stress levels and things like that. So again, you can tell, if you're tracking your sleep, if you're tracking your daytime stress levels, and then combining that with blood pressure and ECGs, whether you're getting enough food, whether you're getting enough water, it's a lot of data that you can then really build on, and I think that ultimately you can improve yourself and live better lives. I mean, I'm really boring. That's the problem with me. I'm so boring, and I'm so routine, that my wearable pretty much just like, oh my God, it's the same thing every day. I look at my stats and I'm like, same as yesterday, 8 hours sleep, 8 hours sleep, 8 hours sleep. And I'm like, 8,000 steps, 8,000 steps, 8,000 steps, nothing changes, And that might be just as bad as someone that's like really erratic, who gets like 2 hours sleep and then no sleep and then 10 hours sleep, So again, my trends are really, really boring.
Hey, listen, this is coming from someone who does all these crazy Iron Man things and stuff. Okay, let's not forget about that. Kudos to you on that one, Joel. I think for me, actually, in fact, Joel, let me ask you, what's your favorite health app?
So I've had a few over the years. I've tried Fitbit.
Yeah.
And personally, I don't rate them, although they've been bought out by Google. So it's like, it's a little bit different to when I tried it. Garmin, I was a Garmin lover for years and years and years. Even my son's got Garmin and stuff like that. And, their whole, the actual app, the sort of user journey, the user interface, the data it collects and everything, is completely geared up for someone who's very sporty, that wants to track bike rides and this, that and the other. In terms of like their smartwatch side of things, is fairly rudimentary compared to the likes of something like Apple or the Samsung Galaxy watches and stuff. So you can do some things, so you can read text messages, and a couple of the Garmin devices are a little bit more advanced now than what they were when I was using them. I'm talking like it's got to be
version 1 beta.
15 years ago or more, sort of thing. This is when the Apple Watch side of things was in its infancy, but Garmin were already out there tracking, using GPS, connecting to your phone, gathering this kind of data. But I have to admit, since having my Galaxy Watch for the last few months and using the Samsung Health app, it's a whole different level. The things it can do, and like I said, as we talked about before, the ECG side of things, the blood pressure side of things. All my stats are really boring, but but it's still fascinating to see that level of tech. And then you've got all the other smart wearable tech, pay by watch, answering calls, controlling your camera with it, and all those kind of things that again seem to be missing from more sport specific trackers, maybe. If I'm wrong, I'm sure someone will tell me. But my experience. So I haven't looked back since having the new Galaxy Watch and connecting to Samsung Smart Health. It's been amazing, for sleep tracking, training, and all sorts of things.
I've had the Apple Watch Ultra for a long time because one day I decided that maybe I might go deep sea diving, or I might climb a mountain, or I might do this and that, and I'm going to need it.
Yeah.
I'm smiling as I'm saying this to you.
There you go.
And of course, my favorite health app is a kebab shop. But nevertheless,
watches is such a personal thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can't look at someone with a Breitling and be like, "Oh yeah, but you don't even fly a plane."
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can't look at someone with like a G-Shock Mudmaster or something and just be like, "Oh, when have you been deep sea diving?"
Exactly.
Yeah, they haven't. And it doesn't matter that the watch is capable of doing these things, and you're probably never likely going to be doing it, but it's still nice to have.
I like that. No, you're absolutely right. Let's look at the other side of things now. So you have we've spoken about this on previous shows as well about the Vision Pro, but the Vision Pro is being used in operating theatres. It's been used by outside of health. It's been used by car manufacturers as well. And so you have this tech that's gone in where you can literally just stand there and operate on another human being while you have all kinds of data in front of you about that patient. So you could be there, I don't know, you're having some sort of operation, Joel, right? And all of your patient data is in front of that surgeon. So he doesn't need to ask the nurse. He doesn't need to ask the reception, what is this X, Y, and Z? It's all in front of you.
Oh, I see. That's pretty cool.
Right?
Yeah, that's really good.
And then you've also got AR and VR being used simultaneously in drug research and in other countries around the world where they need to be doing certain trials. And this technology is just revolutionizing the entire health sector. One of the largest customers for Apple's Vision Pro is actually the health sector.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
That's really interesting.
And I've come across personally as well car manufacturers and pharmaceutical companies that are using this. And you just think, wow.
So they've seen this tech and gone, you know what, we can use that.
Yes.
We can use that for something that we're not doing and not capable of doing at the moment.
Yep.
That's really interesting.
And this kind of like cements the fact that you have companies out there making this super advanced technology and think, oh, well, what am I going to use it for? But there are organizations out there and industries out there which are thinking this is exactly what we needed.
Okay, let me ask you a question. So do you think that you would ever get to the point where you would trust a completely autonomous operation? So no human surgeon, no keyhole surgery, no...
Oh, that's a tough one.
Do you think that we get to the stage where you're going to have the option to be like, oh yeah, I'd like a human piloted surgery? We talked about human piloted vehicles.
A human piloted surgery. Oh my God, this is so funny.
So you could have. Okay, would you like the human response for that? Would you like
or
a
the
human
android,
to operate, or would you like a completely autonomous?
Yeah. Okay, it's interesting. I'll tell you why. I do a lot of autonomous driving. I'm sat in this car. This car does everything, right? And I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah.
Yet my life is in its hands at 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's taking the bend, and so on and so on and so on. And this is a really good question. I would say yes, based on the fact that I had seen it operate on someone else before and it didn't make a mistake.
And do you think that because it's autonomous and driven by AI or whatever it's driven by, software based, do you feel that it is less likely to make a mistake than a human who's just left the house and had an argument with his wife, got stressed in the car because of traffic, is then running late in for the surgery? You know what I'm saying? So again, that human element,
that cumulative effect
always has the ability to have outside influences that can ultimately lead to a mistake when they've got you on the table doing whatever procedure they want to.
No, you make a good point. I mean, I often actually think about the NHS. They work 12-hour shifts, and I always think to myself, these are really long shifts for making life-changing decisions for people. I think I wouldn't have an issue with it. I would take the AI route.
Yeah, I think probably I would on a
because
longer timeline.
It's not. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're talking 40, 50 years from now.
We're talking extremely speculative. I mean,
of course.
I haven't found any evidence that this is even.
This is not a Dragon's Den moment, is what we're saying. But no, I actually do think that I would use that service because it's not going to get tired. If the system is proved to be tested regularly, you've seen someone who's just gone through the same procedure. So I don't know what this procedure might be. It might be nose reconstruction or something, and you've seen the whole thing and it's done it all efficiently. The entire process actually is autonomous. So you go to the hospital, you are the human. You walk in, you have to sit down on some sort of autonomous wheelchair. There's no actual physical doctors or nurses or porters there. This wheelchair then takes you to the correct ward. A face scanner comes on, it identifies you correctly, then it takes you to the correct operating area. You get lifted out by a robot, you're laid out, it injects you, and then you're put to sleep for that period of time. There's a time before it injects you, it says to you, you will be out for this much time. It's on a digital screen in front of you, so it says count to 3. By that time it's already injected you, and then the anaesthetist, the drugs in your system, you're out. Okay. The whole operation is taking place. It's also being live streamed to loved ones who are not there, but they're fearful of what may happen. So they're now watching on a private link, secured, where they can see in like 24K. And in fact, they may even have like
24K.
Exactly, right? Because we're thinking really far in the future. And then they may even have like some sort of VR or like Apple Gen something times 10. They're actually there.
Yeah, you're going to have one of those 3D holographic.
They're all there. So you got all your loved ones around you. They're at home though. They're watching the whole thing while these robots or whatever it may be is doing its thing. And then they do the whole procedure. And at the end of it all, you're placed back in correctly. You're in your wheelchair, autonomous vehicle, whatever, maybe taken to the correct ward, and then you're approached with drink, all the things a human would do, and the real-time data is being fed to your loved ones from that hospital bed. Every single ounce of data is being sent out, and you can have a family member, with you in hologram or wherever it may be, with you the entire time, Joel.
I don't know how we got to hear from my watch, but there we go.
But we have. The point is, if you're going to think, you're thinking really far ahead. What we're saying is data will get us to a point where something like that could potentially happen.
Yeah. So on the back of that, then, would you then change a working part of your body for something better?
Yes.
Yeah. So would you change your eyesight? I mean, there's
eyesight, liver, back, legs, arms. If it can be replaced, I could do that.
With something better, something enhanced,
yes.
like zoom lens on your eyes or stronger mechanical arms and stuff
Correct.
like that.
Yeah. 100%. 100%. Yeah, I would. Yeah, I'd have. I mean, the way I'm saying that, I'll probably have all of my store cards in my head. Like Tesco's, Aldi, all the rest of it. But no. Jokes aside, yes, I would. Anything that could give me a tactical advantage in life, I would take it.
Well, especially as we will be very, very old men by the time they're doing that.
Exactly. So we would like the perfect clients for said companies who would do this. It's been really interesting, actually, Joel. Yes, I do agree with us. I segued into that. But look, anything's possible now. With AI in-house and the vast budgets these companies have, the future looks jaw-droppingly awesome.
Only limitation is your imagination.
Oh, I love that. Or we're going to leave you with that one. So stay tuned. We'll be back after this short break, live on the Tech Factor.
Peterborough's community radio station, Salaam Radio, 106.2 FM.
Craving authentic Desi flavors? Look no further than Desi Restaurant. From midday until 1 in the morning, enjoy our homemade specialties that will transport your taste buds. Indulge in tantalizing papri chaat and savor the rich Chersi Kadahi. Treat your friends to our fresh 1 kilogram Chersi lamb handi. Plus, get 2 12-inch pizzas for $11.95. Located at 298 Lincoln Road, we deliver from lunchtime until 1 a.m. Call 01733 555 795 now to order and experience Desi Restaurant's flavors.
Are you a savvy shopper searching for the best food deals? Look no further. Adams Cash and Carry can help you save big. We're not just a food wholesaler for takeaways and restaurants. We also welcome household customers at our warehouse in Westwood, Peterborough. Visit our website and enjoy wholesale prices on everything from drinks to flour, rice to burgers, and much more. To shop, go online and collect in store. Visit adamscashandcarry.co.uk today to start your savings spree.
At Cake Inn, all our cakes and slices are freshly baked for that delicious taste. At Cake Inn, we bake 100% vegetarian and halal eggless fresh cream cakes. Delicious flavoured cakes for birthdays and weddings, ceremonies and all other occasions, with free customised messages, even balloons and candles too. Order for delivery or collection from Cake Inn, 489 Lincoln Road, PE1 2PE, and your cake could be ready within 2 hours. Find out more and order online at cakeinn.co.uk or call 01733 496 584.
Need a taxi that won't break the bank? Amar Cabs offers safe local rides at affordable prices, starting at £3.99. Get to Heathrow for £120 and London Stansted or London Luton for just £88. Private school and executive business class drop-offs are also available. Booking is easy. Go to www.amarcabs.com and download our app on Android or iOS or call 01733 555 888. Wherever you're headed, Amar Cabs is just a tap away with reliable, affordable rides starting at just £3.99.
ये कोविड-19 फ्लू से अपने आप को बचाने का वक्त है। अगर आप या खानदान का कोई फर्द इस मौसम सरमा में वैक्सीन के एहल हैं, तो आप आसानी से अपॉइंटमेंट बुक कर सकते हैं या ऑनलाइन वॉक इन क्लिनिक तलाश कर सकते हैं। और यहाँ तक कि अगर आपको पहले कोविड-19 या फ्लू की वैक्सीन लग चुकी है, ये बाकायदा फरोग देने वालों के लिए सिर्फ एक जॉब था। मुकम्मल तौर पर महफूज रहना अभी भी जरूरी है। मजीद जानने के लिए कोविड और फ्लू की वैक्सीन पीटरबोरो के लिए ऑनलाइन तलाश करें।
Whether you visit the Berry Furniture Showroom at 78B Fengate in Peterborough or view and buy online, you'll be amazed at the quality and style you could enjoy in your home. With beds from just £299 and complete 3-2-1 sofa sets from less than £1,000, you'll also be amazed at their wholesale prices too. Plus, there's a 1-year free warranty on sofas and beds, subject to conditions. Find out more, click on Berry, that's BERRE furniture.co.uk or call 01733 300 517.
This is Salaam Radio, Peterborough's Muslim community radio. Broadcasting on 106.2 FM and online.
Welcome back to the Tech Factor. And if you're just tuning in, you missed a deep dive into how tech is transforming health. But no worries, you can catch the highlights on our social channels. Now let's lighten up things here with tech stories of the week. Joel, first up, have you seen the viral video of a robot dog busting moves to pop a hit? The precision is jaw-dropping. Then there's this genius idea of a toaster that lets you print selfies on your morning bread. Who knew breakfast could be so personalised? I don't know if you've seen that. It's so cool, no. Right? I mean, I guess I'm the perfect client for that sort of stuff, I reckon. But let's get into it. What's the coolest or quirkiest stories that we've got between us tonight? Joel will be sharing them. But before we do, we obviously want people to interact with us. You can call the show on 01733 602 133. Text the show on 07411 191062. Or comment on the live stream, Facebook, YouTube, X or Twitch. We're obviously missing Shamshad and Faisal this evening because Shamshad certainly pulls out an offside somewhere, doesn't he? But over to you, my friend Joel.
Well, I'm hoping that I can pull out some good stories this week. So the first one I've got is going to be medical related. Okay. Because that does fit in quite nicely with our first half an hour of the show. So this is MIT researchers, after being inspired by how the squid and octopus jet propulsion system works, as you know, they push fluid out and it propels them through the water. Yeah, they've taken that idea and turned it into a capsule for needle-free drug delivery directly into your gastrointestinal tract. Wow. Yeah. So these capsules, they use a compressed gas or springs, and they release at high velocity a jet of medication directly into the gastrointestinal tissue. That is phenomenal. Yeah? So they can deliver, they're expecting to be able to deliver things like insulin, antibiotics, RNA-based therapies, you know, anything that you would sort of like inject on a regular basis. You'll be able to then, what I'm thinking about is taking a capsule that will essentially pop open in your throat, release the medication directly into the tissue of your throat, directly into your bloodstream, and away you go. And then the rest of the capsule will pass through your body with no problems and just be disposed of in that way. Wow. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, and you think now, that's reminded me of the stealth bomber or the B-52 bomber, one of the two, and they've based that on a bird, haven't they?
Yes, they have, yeah. So lots of tech takes inspiration from nature. Yeah.
It's phenomenal. Yeah, you know, when you think of that. Wow. Okay, well, I mean, that is, by the way, well done. That is awesome. Mine, slightly different. So AI-generated music. OpenAI's Jukebox creates original songs in the styles of famous artists. I don't know if you've seen that. Really? Yeah, it's quite cool. I don't know. I mean, I'm assuming there won't be any copyright issues because it's original music.
Okay. So
I'd have your voice over an original track that doesn't already exist in the world.
That's very interesting.
Yeah. Then you also have, I think you'll like this, Joel, LG has cameras inside their smart fridges which suggest which recipes based on the ingredients you have you can make.
Does it open the fridge and it says, back again, fatty?
Brilliant. No,
that's exactly.
I think that's quite funny. I think is instead using some sort of infrared camera or laser within there, going, okay, so you got some eggs. Yeah, I see a bit of bread or a little bit of meat there. Well, yeah, I think you can make this. Bang. And I think for someone like me, that's awesome.
But it's also going to then feed into your health app. That's what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah, you're right.
So if your fridge is also just automatically feeding how many times you visited the fridge to your health app, you know. Could perhaps sort of flag up that you probably shouldn't be going in your fridge at 2 in the morning.
2 in the morning. So you're thinking, oh, why do I have this spike? And it's like, in fact, here we go again. It takes a picture of you, uploads it to your phone saying, seen, spotted again.
Yeah.
And then if you want to, like, you know, if you've got a child, you know, whose diet you need to manage, you as a parent receive this image saying, child X is currently in fridge, alert, alert, alert.
It should send your 2 a.m. midnight cheese eating picture directly to Facebook, so it shames you straight away. Name
Wow.
shames you. Then you never go in the fridge again at 2 o'clock to
Can
eat
you
cheese.
imagine? I'll tell you right now, I'd probably be on there every single day with cheese all over my beard and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It definitely needs to say something.
So there's also something called gaming in the kitchen. I don't know if you've seen this, Joel. It's smart appliances now that come with built-in touchscreens for gaming while you're cooking.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Come on.
You going to get one?
No.
Oh, come on. That's a secret little dot. Where'd you get it from?
Well, we sit there just looking at your phone, don't you?
Okay. What do you have?
So you mentioned a robot dancing to music. Well, I've got a robot at well, a couple of robot ones, but we're going to go with the what's his name? What his name is? Rabio 2. He is developed by South Korea's Cast company.
Okay.
And it is the first. I'm calling it a robot dog, but I think it's actually called something like a robotic quadruplet or something. It's a 4-legged robot, basically. But it's actually just run a marathon, a full marathon. It's in 26.2 miles on a single charge, and it run the entire course itself, unaided, so it wasn't being remote controlled by anyone. And it did it in 4 hours and 19, which is faster than me, sadly. So there we go. It didn't need a battery top-up, and it's the first time that a robot dog has done it. It includes a route that included steep hills, challenging terrain, all without recharging. So that's pretty cool.
Okay, I've got smart umbrellas. Devices like the Umbrella provide weather forecasts and send alerts if you leave them behind.
Oh, really? So you leave your umbrella on the train, it says, "Oh, I'm on the train."
Yeah.
And then you think, "Well, I'm going to get it back now because it's just disappeared."
Yes, but that's remind me of a funny story, actually. I bought a dog. I was quite young, and I was going to uni, and it was the first time I'd met this dog as well, okay? And it was the day I needed to take this dog with me to the Midlands. And so I got this dog. It was a Rottweiler. Got in the leash, got to Peterborough train station. I'm waiting for the train to go to Birmingham, and I've got my luggage with me. I've got this dog. Right, train comes. I walk on. Dog walks on. Suitcase goes on. Everything's fine. I'm sat at a table. Everything's all good. We get to the first stop. Remember, I don't know this dog. Dog doesn't know me. Dog runs off. Right, just runs off the train. Stands and is now on the platform. And I'm trying to chase this dog. I don't even know its name. I've just given it a name. Chasing this dog. The doors on the train, Joel, start to close.
Oh, no.
And all my stuff is on. I don't know how I did it. I managed to get the dog and get back onto the train. It's made me think of that umbrella.
Yeah.
Once it's gone, it's gone.
It's like those pictures online when because you can track your little like iPods and your in-ear headphones and things like that. Some of them, when they get split up, you can look to see where they are geographically. And when people lose them on holiday and stuff, they're sort of like sitting somewhere in the UK and their other headset is like all the way down in South Africa or somewhere. It's just completely the other side of the world. So yeah, it reminds me of that as well. Just seeing where your umbrella is, and it's like all the way the other side of the country on the train still.
Exactly. Yeah. We also have AI art, an AI painting called Portrait of Edmond de Bellamy, sold for $432,500 at Christie's auction. An AI painting.
Really?
Well, did you see the news today about that banana?
No.
A banana today was sold, a banana taped to a wall, or duct tape, for $5 million.
Oh, I've seen other pictures. I didn't know the backstory from it, but I've seen people sort of like taping like pasties and other fruit and things to walls and stuff, saying, "Oh, we're going to, sell this and sell that." So, oh, okay. No, I didn't see that, but wow. I mean, it's only as expensive as what someone's prepared to pay for it, right?
Yes, it was some sort of crypto fella. He bought it. I mean, it's just crazy, isn't it?
But look how
the banana that is anyway.
Look how expensive the NFTs were and stuff back in the day, which were just
and they're coming back up again.
Just pictures, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Just pictures. Oh my god!
Come on.
I've only got 14 of them. Yeah, they're not just pictures. They mean something to me. Where are we? There's some mood sensing technology as well. Wearables like Mood Beam let you log and track emotions to improve your mental well-being.
Is that ring form or watch form or?
I don't have that information in front of me. I'm going to go with it's a wearable.
Do you think they would have that built into more mainstream things rather than having to buy something to tell you? Like back in the day, they used to have mood rings, didn't they? That changed colour depending on what mood you're in. They're the only things that I used to wear.
Oh, no wonder yours was always red. There's also, of course, we've seen, I just mentioned NFTs, so I can tell you that there are digital tattoos, the temporary e-tattoos with an NFC chip that are being tested for contactless payments. Check that out.
That's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
How am I doing tonight?
You're doing very well.
Thank you very much indeed. So give me something.
Quick fire rounds from you. So we've got a birthday to celebrate this week. November the 19th, 2006 was the day that the Nintendo Wii was released in North America. So the Nintendo Wii has turned 18 this week.
My God, I feel old.
2006.
I feel so old now.
So some quick facts about the Nintendo Wii. So at launch, the Wii stood out for its innovative motion sensing controller. If you haven't used one before, instead of using your thumbs to press joysticks and buttons, you essentially have a wireless wand and a sensor on top of your TV, and when you moved your arms about, it detected where you were moving your arms, and you could control the characters or whatever you're doing on the screen. It provided a way more interactive gaming experience. You stood up in front of the TV that you were using it on, and you could wave your arms around. The approach targeted a broad audience beyond just traditional gamers, and it was set themselves apart from competitors like PlayStation 3, like Xbox 360 at the time that was also out. And the console was priced at $250. It was initially bundled with the highly popular Wii Sports, which came the key driver to its success.
Yep.
So again, if you haven't played Wii Sports, what Wii Sports is about is it had 10-pin bowling, it had tennis, it had golf. There was lots of other sort of. If you had a racket, a bat, and a ball, it was in Wii Sports. And I remember countless hours stood in front of the TV, swinging our arms around and all this kind of stuff. And do you remember, Akeel, that there was lots of news reports about people letting go of the controllers and smashing the TVs?
Yeah, I was just thinking
with
that as you were saying it. Or hitting family members.
Yeah, or hitting each other with them. So then they had a safety strap on them and all this kind of stuff. And
after there were so many complaints,
There's so many complaints, yeah. I mean, we've still got ours. Ours still sits in our media unit at home. It still works after all these years. The Wii also introduced several features that was unseen at that point on console systems. That included things like backwards compatibility. So you could backwards compatibility with GameCube games, which was the big seller before the Wii came out. It also had virtual console within the actual Wii itself for downloading other classical games as well from Nintendo. It sold over 101 million units worldwide, and it became Nintendo's biggest selling home console until the Switch, which surpassed it in 2021.
Yes.
So it held that title. It was world beating.
Mega, yeah.
World beating. It beat PlayStation. It beat Xbox.
Yep.
Yeah. And it wasn't outsold until essentially its sister product, the Switch, outsold it in 2021.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And again, because it was targeted at the average gamer, it was targeted in mass market, it was designed for ease of use. It was also because you were immersing yourself physically into the game.
Everyone, every generation in your household could sit down and play a Wii game.
Yeah.
Whether it's Wii Sports or any, I think there was another one called like Wario something where it had loads of different things, and lots of the games at the time as well had that lovely Japanese quirkiness to them, and they were just so engaging and so fascinating that every generation could play and interact. Well, I think nowadays, with lots of games are co-op, lots of games are online. You're not. I think that the Wii brought people together again to play with each other in your own front room. Yeah, but now we're all headsets on, all doing it remotely. It's not quite the same vibe.
No, this is true. But then, of course, the games, like as you just mentioned as well, they weren't really high-end games. They weren't. I'm not saying they weren't challenging, but they weren't designed to be. They were more of a community.
It certainly wasn't AAA graphics.
No,
it wasn't. Yeah. It wasn't massive storylines. The gameplay in terms of some of the games that are out today was essentially shallow, but the novelty of it, and the novelty stayed around from 2006 even today, it's still loved by many and used.
It's true, and
used by many.
I'm sure there are people out there who have a Wii who would have no problem switching it back on and just having a laugh, because you're going to have a laugh.
Yeah. They had
Fantastic.
different accessories. So they had steering wheel, they had the like balance board thing.
That Wii Fit, wasn't it?
Wii Fit, yeah. Which was the Wii Fit again, talking about wearables and things like that. Groundbreaking. You were using a video game to keep you fit. Now we've got that kind of tech in mirrors and in all sorts of other things where you can have personal trainers, and you can, someone like Joe Wicks, you can stream them, every day and do a workout with them and stuff like this. But again, back then, something like the Wii Fit was just so revolutionary and so far ahead of anybody, what everyone else was doing. You could stand on the board and you could follow along to yoga, to whatever it might be, stepping on and off the board and all that kind of stuff. It's fantastic. Absolutely brilliant. So happy birthday, Nintendo Wii. 18 this week.
Fantastic. That's a great story and a deserving tribute there, Joe. Well done. I've got plant communicators.
Okay.
Startups are creating devices to translate plant signals, letting users know when their plants need water.
Really? Yes, I have heard that there are certain frequencies or certain communications that come from plants depending on how stressed they are or how happy they are and that kind of thing. People have always said, oh, you've got to talk to your plants, or you've got to play music to them and they grow better and stuff like this. And it's always kind of been like that, kind of like a bit of a myth or an old wives' tale, but there's actually some science behind it. So it's interesting that someone's picked up the idea and is running it and turning it into an actual commodity to sell and improve plant lifestyles. I don't know. Is that a thing?
And life, just general life. Yeah, of course. So we also have, obviously, it's well known that Amazon has its basically delivers around the whole world and all the rest of its stuff it does, but it's actually now expanding its Prime Air service. It's delivering packages via drones in even more locations.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think this was going to come anyway. It's a lot cheaper to do it.
Yeah, well, Amazon still just completely blows my mind in the fact that I can order something in the morning and it can turn up before 10 o'clock the same day.
Yeah.
And the thing that I've ordered is probably far less than the fuel it's used to get from the depot to my house. The economics of Amazon just stagger me. So the fact they can, now start to deliver those things in more locations via drone in the air, then, yeah, absolutely incredible.
Absolutely. What have you got next?
Sorry?
What have you got next?
So I want to talk about Blue Sky.
Okay.
So this is...
Tell me about this.
This is a I don't want to call it new social media platform, but it is a social media platform at the moment that is very, very much in the spotlight and really is having its day. So this is a project that is run by a former Twitter co-founder, Jack Dorsey.
Is Twitter a new?
Twitter is a new one, yeah. So recently, this platform, Blue Sky, has seen an extraordinary rise in popularity. It's designed as an alternative to traditional social media models, and it allows more users control over their data because it's coming from a decentralized approach. Now, I'll talk what decentralized is in a minute and sort of bust some of that jargon. But just to focus on Blue Sky, so it's drawing growing numbers, and users are seeing more independent and transparent social media experiences, especially because there's a lot of people at the moment which are dissatisfied with the direction of the X is going, informally Twitter, and Threads. In the unhappiness within those platforms is increasing, and they are seeing a mass exodus, and people do seem to be going over to Blue Sky. So as of mid-November 2024, the platform is adding over 1 million users per day. So if they've got shares, I reckon that might be a good worthy investment. And it's quickly reached more than 18 million. And in fact, since this article was written that I've got this from, I now know that they've actually up to over 20 million users.
It's interesting because the logo, and I've just, while you're talking, I've decided to put it up.
I think it's a butterfly, isn't it?
Mate, this looks just like X.
Yeah.
This looks just like X. Wow.
It's also boosted by its user-friendly interface, resembles Twitter, and its decentralized nature makes it stand out for a model for future social media platforms. So the shift signals a broader trend to where they're looking for more control, where users are looking for more control over their digital experiences, away from centralized, monopolized and traditional platforms. So just to bust some of that tech jargon there. So a decentralized system refers to a setup where the control, decision-making and data is spread out across different participants or nodes, rather than being managed by a single central authority. So in contrast, centralized systems examples are company run or government run, and they control everything within that platform. So Twitter and Facebook are and can be considered a centralized system, but Blue Sky is a decentralized system. So instead of that one company controlling the platform, users can manage their own data and decisions about the content and the rules, and are made through collaboration across the network's participants rather than dictated by one organization or person. So lots and lots of people are sort of saying, they may be disagreeing with Elon Musk, who runs X at the moment, and he has a lot of say in the direction of the company and who uses it and who can't use it and things like that. So again, this decentralized approach is giving the platform back to the users, so the users can make that kind of decision and make the platform into something they are willing to invest in and actually ultimately use, kind of thing as well. So it'd be really interesting, I think, Akeel, to see how companies react to this. How at the moment, you say, "I'll find us on socials." We're using X, Facebook. We're using Instagram, things like that. And I'm just wondering, at what point do we see then businesses saying, "Find us on Facebook, Blue Sky, X." When will Blue Sky become that ingrained into our society that lots of other companies will also be pushing it, and lots of third parties will also be pushing it? So it'll be interesting to see. But growing 1 million users per day, over 20 million users now, it really does seem like it's on its way up at the moment.
Yes, and I think because of what's been going on X as well, this is definitely something people are just going to be going towards, because lots of companies, lots of organizations, lots of people are leaving X.
There's high-level celebrities that have been very, very public and vocal about why they've left and things like that. Stephen King's one that immediately springs to mind, very, very big and long-term Twitter/X user, and he's basically just said, no, that's it. Yeah,
I mean, look, it's going to survive, because I actually haven't got an issue with X. I think it was way too censored anyway. I think then we're adults. We should be able to have an environment where we can say things. I mean, look, certain things out there, if there's blatant racism or whatever going on, this is different. But I mean, there should be discourse. You're not going to be able to learn from other people and so on if you can't even talk to each other. Okay. So I get that, but the same token, there is this accusation out there, and this is just a suspicion that certain algorithms are favoring what you're seeing. So, but we already know that's how social media works anyway. So, it was needed, wasn't it? I mean, we've seen, is it Meta who've got Threads?
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
That's just kind of withered.
Yeah.
There
are other social media platforms out there. So Blue Sky is very, very similar to one called Mastodon, which is also decentralized. And when Elon first took over X, they did see a bump in usership. Yeah. But and they had their 5 minutes in the limelight kind of thing. But again, because of the recent November elections within the US, there has been more of an exodus from X, and it seems to be Blue Sky is the way that they've gone to. But again, Blue Sky and Mastodon, they're both very similar kind of concepts and ideas when it comes to this whole decentralization, and not just one person can rule how the platform is run, kind of thing. So
no, I agree with you. Having said that, though, X is not slowing down in any way, shape or form.
No, and Blue Sky needs to have not just celebrity endorsement and other people flocking over to it. I think that what will really push it is when big businesses start having their logo on their website, just like we see the Facebook logo,
Yes.
the X logo and all that kind of stuff. And we say, find us on socials. And it's not until I think that there's lots of companies out there that start saying, find us on Blue Sky, Facebook and blah, 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 that it'll really, really, really take off. And at that point, that's when it's become mainstream, and that's when it will be, that's when it has the potential to perhaps rival X in a similar sort of way.
But I'm with you. I think that's going to take some time.
It's going to take a lot of time.
It's going to take some time to get to that point where we will see that. But X has been in now for a long time. Although I'm with you, I'm seeing lots of celebrities announcing that they're leaving. I'm like, okay, just go. Why do you need to announce it? Yeah. But it is what it is. That's the way the world's going to go. And I'm sure I'll have a look at this Blue Sky thing, by the way, and see where we're at. It'd be good to actually, perhaps we'll look into this maybe in December. We'll have a little review of social networks around the world. That would be quite cool. And of course, as we head towards December, we're going to do a tech review of the year as well. So that's coming.
And what I find fascinating is not everyone from all around the world uses the same.
And there we go.
We sit here and talk about the big 3 or 4, but there's more than that.
Thanks, Joel. And thank you for your company this evening. I hope you enjoyed the Tech Factor.